Media Network. This is Abigail Carmelim bringing to you the Salesian news across the globe. On the occasion of the preparation for the Feast of Mary Help of Christians on May 24, the beautiful tradition of the World Novena is renewed again this year, 15 to 23rd May, through animation videos that will accompany faithful and devoted along the spiritual path. With a novelty for this 2021, the Salesian headquarters has also promoted the creation of a booklet that for each day of novena presents the biblical reference from which to start for reflection, the actualization of the gospel passage, and episode taken from the life of Don Bosco and the final prayer. To purchase the complete booklet of the novena with the color text available only in Italian, it is possible to contact by April 30th the person in charge of social communication of the provinces or request its sending by writing directly to the address info@imecomunicazione.it. A few weeks ago, Odalis Aguilar, an 18-year-old girl from Meghalaya, ended her volunteering experience in the Semiatak community of the Daughters of Mary Help of Christians (FMA). It was part of the first virtual submission made in June 2020, the result of the mobility restrictions generated by COVID-19. Although there was a looming fear of infection, her desire to help and share her gifts with those who needed her most was stronger. At first, her parents were against it, but then she received their support to volunteer. Before leaving for the mission destination, she entrusted herself to God and said to him, "May your will be done, always accompany me and on this journey." During the Mass of Submission, she was assigned to the work of Louis Variara of the Daughters of Sacred Heart at Pliers and then transferred to Semiatak to accompany the indigenous population. After a year of experiences, learning and even some difficulties, she describes volunteering as a unique and unforgettable stage of her life for everything she has learned and received from the people she has worked with on a daily basis. They taught me to always have Salesian joyful charisma and to cultivate patience and lovingness. Don Bosco International DBI recently issued a public statement on the new European Union EU Pact on Migration and Asylum through a series of documents that have been prepared together with Caritas Europea, Catholic Commission for Migrants in Europe, Commission of Catholic Episcopal Conferences in the EU, Community of St. Egidio Evangelical Church in Germany, Eurodiaconia International Catholic Commission for Migration, and the Jesuit Refugee Service. Christian churches, communities and organizations such as those that sign these documents are deeply committed to the inviolable dignity of the human person created in the image of God, as well as the concept of the common good, global solidarity and the promotion of society that welcomes the stranger. Based on the conviction that the fundamental values of the European Union must be reflected in its policies, including in the areas of freedom, security and justice. This joint advocacy effort aimed to find a common perspective in order to speak with one voice, starting from a perspective of Christian faith on these issues. India's situation is worrying globally in the face of the new wave of COVID-19 infections. According to the Indian Ministry of Health, the country has today recorded another 3,645 deaths from the coronavirus, a new very sad record with an increase of over 350 compared to yesterday, and the total victims in India since the beginning of the pandemic thus rise to 204,832. Obviously, this reality is also having a massive impact on more than 360 schools and 500 structures managed by the Salesian network in the country. The shortcomings in the country are outside our normal skills. Hospital beds, intensive care units, pulmonary ventilators, oxygen crematoriums. Directly testifies from India. Father George Menamparampal, head of Salesian Missionary Prosecutors and for over a year coordinator of the project Don Bosco Solidarity COVID-19, the Salesian Global Coordination Initiative in the face of the pandemic emergency. In this context, what we are able to do for people in the current situation is distribute groceries, cook food, protective equipment and toiletry which we can deliver directly to the poor. Provide oxygen concentrators or mini machines for oxygen production to hospitals and other treatment centers. To make awareness campaigns in favor of vaccination. Last April 24th, at the chapel of the Don Bosco School in Campo Grande, the program Live Vocational was recorded, and hour and 20 of music, testimonies of life and messages addressed to young people under the leadership of Don Aldo da Silva, Salesian, and the Salesian student of philosophy, Rafael de Souza. Don Ricardo Carlos SDB, Superior of the Salesian Province of Brazil Campo Grande BCG, who invited young people to always listen to God's call, also participated in the event. Don Carlos then urged Salesians to be vocational agents and to be an example of faith for young people. The event is part of the 2021 planning activities for the youth vocational pastoral care and was realized in collaboration with the provincial team of vocational pastoral and the parish San Giovanni Bosco of Campo Grande, which also provided the entire technical structure for the transmission. The Salesian family of the province of the Southern Philippines has gathered in online mode to deepen the life and teachings of Saint Francis de Sales. It was also an opportunity to focus on the Salesian educational style. In this sense, Don Rooney John Under, Dean of the Don Bosco Victorious Technical Institute, explained the principles of Salesian education starting from the teachings left by Saint Francis of Sales and Saint John Bosco, which are still very topical today. The meeting, which gathered mainly Salesian teachers and educators, took place in a climate of familiarity and joy. Finally, during the Salesian Goodnight, Father Godefredo Atienza, Superior of the FIS Province, urged the Salesian family to continue with this educational style, especially in these difficult times marked by the pandemic. In view of the celebrations for the anniversary of the apparitions of Our Lady of Fatima, the Mayor of Funchal, Miguel Silva Guvesia, has visited the Salesian school in recent days. Here, Mr. Gouveia, a Salesian ex-pupil, also met Don Antonio Marcelino, parish priest of the parish, Our Lady of Fatima of Funchal, and the director of the school, Don Jose George, who accompanied the mayor on the visit of the structure. With this visit, the municipality of Funchal wanted to affirm that it hopes to maintain the usual celebration that bring together hundreds of faithful every year. The students of the Carlos Fanel Agro-Pastoral Institute celebrated last April 22nd the beginning of the month dedicated to Mary Help of Christians. The celebration began in the courtyard of the institute with the presence of the students of the second year, who went in procession with lit candles, later participating in the Eucharistic celebration presided over by Don Justo Fretis. On the morning of Friday 23rd April, the statue of Mary Help of Christians took place in the institute area. Looks on Youth Ministry. This was the title chosen for the roundtable organized by the Institute of Pastoral Theology of the UPS, which took place on Monday 26 April from 15 to 17 hours and involved over 150 people connected by video conference. The event began with the greeting of the Dean of the Faculty of Theology, Father Antonio Escuridero, who expressed his gratitude to the three speakers and the participants. The moderator, Professor Marcelo Scarpa, subsequently introduced the biography of Don Salvatore Curo, Director of the Institute of Pastoral Theology and author of the volume Youth, Church and Common Humanity. Parts of Practical Theology on Pastoral Conversion. The first question was raised directly by this subtitle: What is meant by pastoral conversion? According to Don Curo, the fundamental key to ecclesial renewal is to put the dynamics of the meeting at the center. In this relational plot, anthropological perspective meets theological perspective. At the beginning of the Christian faith, in fact, as Benedict XVI pointed out, that there's precisely the encounter event with a person. The pastoral conversion suggested by Don Curo also passes through the recovery of the measure of revelation for youth ministry according to the scriptures and for the reconfiguration, transfiguration of the body dimension of the faith in a phenomenological perspective. On April 28, 2021, 5 Salesians, Arokia Antwu, Arun Sagayaraj, Gabriel Silva Kumar, Gabriel Paul Raj C and Devaraj Jayaraj were ordained priests in the Salesian province of Chennai at Don Bosco, Katpadi by the Salesian Archbishop Emeritus Chinnappa Malayappan, Doctor of Divinity. Though scheduled to be ordained in December 2020, the pandemic and its resurgence made the celebration postponed for a while. However, the service was conducted in compliance with the COVID protocol. In his homily, the Salesian Archbishop dwelt on love and how to be witness of love. He said Salesians don't need to be looking for models on how to love the less loved. They are very fortunate because they have Don Bosco himself as their model. Archbishop told the newly ordained priests to be imitators of Don Bosco. He said the priesthood implies the gift to love and love all irrespective of caste or creed, to love with a focus on the less privileged, just as the Good Shepherd himself went searching for the lost sheep. So viewers, with that we have come to the end of today's edition. See you again tomorrow at the same time and in the same channel. Thank you for joining us.